And what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of that Dynamite review show on the Tricology News Talk. As always, I'm your host with the most, Mr. Tricology himself. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Leland Benford. What's up, brother?
What is good, everybody? It is time to review this star-studded Dynamite. This episode, shows that some of the star power is coming back to AEW. A lot of these guys who were on the injured list are now able to come back to display their talents.
And of course, last night's Dynamite episode was presented by Game of Thrones House of Dragons, which premiered this Sunday on HBO and HBO Max.
Yeah, I'm thinking about watching this one. The Game of Thrones world is always fun and fascinating. So thinking about checking out at least the first couple episodes.
Yep, I'm definitely gonna check that out on Sunday as well. But let's get into this week's Dynamite show. It definitely changed the complexion towards All Out, but we have our scenarios. But let's get into the first segment of the night. Is CM Punk made his return actually live after returning last week in helping out the Blackpool Combat Club against the Jericho Appreciation Society, and then of course we had the stare down between Punk and Mox, so which that could be the main event for All Out, but but that changed that last night. But we're getting into more into that. So Punk came out with the AEW World Championship over the shoulder, and there was a lot of the Punk chants, and then Punk mentioned that he wants a rematch with Hangman Adam Page, but Page didn't come out. So Punk called him a coward, and everybody wants to be the champ until it's time to do champ shit. He turned his attention to Jon Moxley, saying Moxley might be number one in our hearts, but Punk is number one in the ring. And Punk said Moxley will always be number two, and that even the third best guy in his group, a recruiting theme throughout his career, referring to the Shield days. So Moxley only been the interim champion, but not the real one. His best friend Eddie is the third best Eddie and the second best Kingston he ever shared in the ring with. At All Out, Punk will give everything to test that he defends his championship and won't even be the first John he beats for the belt in Chicago. So Punk was interrupted by Moxley's music, and then Punk marched as long as it takes for Moxley to get to the ring. He starts doing Snow Angels, but then Taz was on commentary. It's like, you better get your butt up because Mox looks pissed. And Moxley mocked at Punk, saying he writes checks with his mouth that his body can't catch. Punk may think he's the best wrestler in the world, but to Moxley, a microphone is just a microphone. Neither of the belts mean anything until he beats Punk. Moxley called himself the heart and soul of AEW, and Punk called himself the dollars and the cents. He challenged Punk and got in his face, but Punk said he wait until the pay-per-view leaves Moxley bleed all over him. Then they got in each other's faces and unloaded strikes until AEW security came out to break it up. They separated momentarily and then broke free to attack each other again. So I think this was a best CM Punk promo since the first time that he and MJF met for the first time at AEW, that back at the Thanksgiving edition of Dynamite. So there was a lot of reference here, especially reference to the Shield, reference when Punk first beat John Cena for the WWE Championship back at Money in the Bank in 2011, and Moxley mentioned that Punk, he just another part timer, just in for the money and all that stuff. So, and there was a lot of reference here. So, they're pretty good promo here to start the show.
Yeah, definitely. Punk on the mic is always great. There was a couple of moments where I wasn't sure if the crowd was fully behind him. I mean, he was talking big stuff last night, and Jon Moxley does have a fan base, and it is a face kind of versus face. I don't know if Punk is going to be a heel or whatever it is. It was a great line where Mox said he was the heart and soul, and Punk said, "Well, he'll be the dollar and cents of the company." And that's really what it is. I mean, Punk got a big contract, so I know he feels a lot of pressure to bring in money. I know he's a big merch seller. I mean, hell, he's on the cover of the game. You know, that game been way in development before he came out, but I mean, when was the last time we seen CM Punk in a video game? So I mean, he is a money making machine, and it is his responsibility to make in more money than he got paid. So I love that line there. So big controversy about that promo is that Dave Meltzer is reporting that that wasn't the planned promo, that he was supposed to just go for Moxley, and the whole bit with him calling out Hangman was all a shoot. It wasn't planned. So some controversy going on there. It was kind of odd to call out Hangman if Hangman wasn't going to come out, especially in his hometown. So there may be some real heat there between Punk and Hangman. I'm sure Hangman might feel a certain way for them giving Punk the belt, and then he had to give it up right away. Why not give it back to Hangman as interim, and then let them get a rematch and then start over? But Mox was the one to come in and win the tournament and carry the company. So great, believable heat between these guys. I mean, Punk saying that Mox Mox is used to being the third best good guy in the group. Um, it kind of eats at Mox's, he has a chip on his shoulder to prove that he's the best. So I think Mox did a good job. I don't know if it was a planned line, but I think he did a good job of kind of uh, you know, kind of destabilizing Punk with saying that Mike, those words don't mean nothing, because Punk does a great promo. I did notice that the belt Mox had was a replica belt, and I believe Punk even said like what they give you the replica, and I think that's why John was okay with like throwing it around and tossing it around. There was a moment that made me question like, should have Mox say that title don't mean shit. Like, I don't know, like if you want to trash that title that way, but that's like the big belt. That's the big thing. It is cool seeing two AEW champions in the ring at the same time holding that belt. And now it's gonna have to be unified, and we're gonna have to go through the whole thing. I would love a ladder match between Punk and Mox. Now let's go to speculation. Will next week be the return of MJF? Will that be the match at All Out? Will it be a three-way match and MJF actually goes over? Will MJF show up at all, or will he just ride out his contract to 2024? Who knows? But that's the exciting part. So obviously next week they got it scheduled for Punk and Moxley to go one-on-one to unify the belt as the undisputed AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Will that match most likely really happen with a finish? Probably not. Most likely not. AEW, I think, they do always do a really good job to have like a screw finish, not feel like a do it disqualification. So I think they do a really good job with that, and I'm excited to see kind of what happens, next week to prolong everything to All Out.
Just to add what you mentioned, it got me thinking. Here's another scenario that it could be a fatal four-way, because when Punk mentioned Heyman, you got to think of what's Heyman at Page they're doing at All Out. I know he's going to be backing up his Dark Order brothers, and for their quest to be the first trios champion. So that brings another scenario. Could this make it be a fatal four-way? Because going into next week's undisputed title match, we know it's not going to end in a clean and in ways, because you got two guys that's really hot right now, and like you don't want anything that to happen. Like you don't want them taking a pinfall, you don't want them to be spared or over. So that begs a lot of question. But back to MJF's scenario. So when he did the pipe bomb a couple of months ago, he did mention about all these ex WWE guys coming in and taking spots from the original. So, but this would impact MJF's career. So if it does become a triple threat at All Out, then if he beats either, I would say let him pin Punk because he has a more rivalry with Punk more than Mox. But either way, this definitely will compel MJF's career just based on the promo pipe that he did a couple of months ago. So because it leans onto that fact. But if you want to include Hangman Adam Page in there and make it a fatal four way, MJF can pin Hangman Adam Page, and you can still protect CM Punk and John Moxley. You can do that. So there's a lot
True.
of yeah.
And I think MJF versus Hangman rivalry is something that we need to see. They're polar opposites, cowboy shit versus, Long Island shit, I guess. So they're polar opposites, and that'd be a good way. Or to renew the CM Punk and MJF rivalry, so Punk can go back for the belt. But I love when like the AEW rivalries feel real and there's some kind of like sense of these guys may not really like each other. I think AEW does that really well with their big rivalries. Like you get a sense, like I got a sense that MJF and CM Punk just didn't really like each other. Could be completely different behind the scenes, but it felt that way on screen. And I do feel like there's a little bit of a Punk is a polarizing guy, right? He's straight edge. We know Moxley had issues with alcohol and other substances, and so it's that bit of Punk that really makes you want to punch him in his face sometimes. And I think that heat kind of is felt between Moxley and Punk. So looking forward to the storyline. Anything with CM Punk and Mox, sign me up 100%. But CM Punk is like a real stickler about like his stories and the stuff that he's involved in. So I think it could elevate Mox a little bit as well as far as storytelling.
Yeah, but here's another question going into next week's title match. Like how healthy is CM Punk is, because like yeah, he was harboring a little bit when they had the Nets brawl, which we will get into that in the moment. He was harboring a little bit, and there was a lot of people. There's some people saying that he may not be 100%, but we'll see how the match goes next week, because some people say it might not last less than 30 minutes or less than 15 or 20 minutes. So we'll see how that goes that next week. We'll see how that goes next week.
Most definitely, yeah. I think definitely looking forward to seeing kind of where this go next and how yeah, All Out is going to be a banger because of this match right here and the build up to it.
Yeah. So after the first opening segment, we go to backstage with Powerhouse Hobbs. Asked about attacking Ricky Starks. Hobbs said he didn't need any friends, unlike Starks. He's not okay with losing. He was tired of Starks hiding him behind his back. And as far as QT Marshall at the factory, Hobbs has something for them too. So we have a little like a difference. Like the Ricky Starks don't like the QT Marshall factory. Powerhouse Hobbs don't like it, but like we all know this is just I feel like we're just gonna get a one-on-one match between Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs and at the All Out pay-per-view. And then like the factory, they just like a third wheel in this. I don't know why the factory's there, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Real quick, shout out to QT Marshall and Anthony Agogo. I went to go to their district championship wrestling show. That show is done all by Nightmare Factory students. QT and Anthony and Trevor Murdoch, I believe his name. They were part of the main event. Definitely the best match of the night. I got some really cool footage from it. The district was a really nice location, so shout out to those guys. Really good show with their students. Some of those students, by the way, have been featured on AEW Dark and Elevation and some of those things. So it's cool to see those guys in action. Now, as far as Powerhouse Hobbs, I said last week I was kind of disappointed. I wanted more story and more promo, and they gave it to me on this one. I'm okay with the reasoning, why he decided to turn on Ricky. I get that. Him also having an issue with the factory, a little weird. Like that's I don't know. So we'll see how that play out. But I hope they don't really I hope they don't bunch this story up to make it more confusing than it needs to be. It needs to be between Starks and Powerhouse. That's what it needs to be. You can have a really good weekly story with these guys just trying to attack each other. I mean, they're also doing the same thing with Jungle Boy and Christian, but I mean, it's different. Powerhouse can, sneak attack, Starks again, and Starks can always be on the lookout for him, but he also got to worry about these other guys as well. So I hope they keep Starks as the main focus of the story and not make it too, you know, just too convoluted with other stories and other people.
Yeah, now most definitely, and we'll see. Like I said, we'll see how that goes in the coming weeks. But so we got the first opening match of the night. We got this is a very good. I see why they put Game of Thrones House of Dragon as a theme, because you got the American Dragon Bryan Danielson versus the Dragon Slayer Daniel Garcia with the Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as the special timekeeper for this special 2 out of 3 falls match
for the special Dynamite for House of Dragon.
Yeah.
How many times do you think we heard the word dragon yesterday?
Oh my God, that's not even a thing. How many commercial breaks you had during this match?
I dare anyone to take a shot every time they hear the word dragon when watching this episode of Dynamite.
Oh my,
that'd be a challenge.
Oh my goodness. So and Jericho joined for commentary, and let me tell you something. Daniel Garcia, he is definitely elevated. After the last match that he had with Bryan Danielson, he definitely got his footing there when he won this match. But this match here, not only he has won Bryan's respect, but he definitely earned the crowd's respect last night.
Yo, Daniel Garcia is a talent to be recognized. He is just one of those guys you can't give a storyline to. He has a legitimate chip on his shoulder, and you can see it. He legitimately wants to prove himself at the young age of 23. You can't, make these guys, you can't give these guys a story to act like that. These guys, you feel like it's legitimate, that he has a real issue with something and he just wants to be the best. I don't know if it's childhood, I don't know what his past is. But you can tell whatever his past has really affected this guy, because you can see it in his face and how he carries himself and how he wrestles. This was a hard hitting. I mean, the first 30 seconds of the match, was all shoot wrestling. These guys were just really just going at it. Some of this stuff looked very dangerous. It looked like it hurt. I'm so worried for Daniel Bryan when he's in the ring, because we know his issues with his neck and everything like that. He kind of took a couple of nasty tumbles here. But I'll let you go ahead and kind of do the play-by-play on it. But boy, oh boy, this match right here, this is a match you can put on for someone who don't watch wrestling, and they will still be entertained and enjoy the physicality of it.
Yeah, and Garcia, he's only 23 years old.
Yeah, 23. Dude has a long career ahead of him. He's already good. AEW has a real gem here with Daniel Garcia. I see him being a future Ring of Honor pure champion. I see him being a ring, even a Ring of Honor champion, TNT champion. I can see it. He really loves professional wrestling. He hits hard. It was a couple of times where he made Danielson look like the weaker opponent. Like the first part of the match, he gave him a kick that flew Danielson back to the corner and it made him look like a little punk. So like for this 23-year-old kid to kind of have that viciousness that he displays is, you're not going to see that in a lot of 23-year-old kids now, to have that viciousness so early in his career and the confidence to be able to be that vicious with these much well veteran guys. So I mean, he is really kind of stamping a way out for himself in this company.
Yeah. And let me say, and I'll say this was definitely better than the last match that they had. So Garcia won the first fall at the put it after a hammerlock dragon sleeper to force Daniel to send the tap out in the first 10 minutes of the match. Then Danielson tied up 1-1 after well, with a cradle pin in about 15 minutes. So so in the final moments in the last fall, Danielson fire up a knuckle lock and attack with the forearms. He hit the ground and pound before trying to kick Garcia in the head. Garcia reversed it and did the same thing, but Danielson finally was able to do it. Danielson locked into this triangle, but Garcia wasn't strong enough to get the power drive out of it. So he just went for the depression strikes. Danielson applied the bell lock and landed in the elbows, leading into the referee's stoppage in about 26 minutes total. And then Brian Danielson won 2-1. But then after the match, Jericho attacked Danielson after Danielson was about to shake Garcia's hand. But after Jericho attacked Danielson, Garcia shrugged him off and slapped away a handshake. And then there was a awesome "You're a wrestler" chant towards Garcia. So this got me thinking, like, is Garcia gonna change factions and go and join the Blackpool Combat Club?
If so, I mean, the Blackpool Combat Club will have two of the hardest hitting young guys in the business between him, Yuta, and Garcia. What a tag team Garcia and Yuta would make for the Blackpool Combat Club. I mean, those are the kind of guys you want in it. I mean, next thing I mean, yeah, I see that definitely happening. I think it was a great storytelling at the end there with the crowd saying you're a wrestler and everything. I mean, they just witnessed. If you go back and watch this match and look at Garcia's face when it first started, and then go back and look at when it ended, his face is a little swollen. I mean, like Danielson gave it to him a couple of times there. So either one of these guys are waking up feeling good this morning. But yes, I would love to see Garcia join the Blackpool Combat Club, and let's take some of that viciousness and apply it to someone else or to another place. I mean, these guys could be Ring of Honor tag team champions between Euler, Wida, and Garcia.
Yeah, so that was crazy, and I can't wait to see what happens with Garcia next week. And Swerving on Glory and Private Party were backstage. They will face up on Rampage for the tag team titles. Private Party were proud to be ranked number 5. Really? But Swerve said they will never win these championships. At least said they'll send them back down the ladder. Listen, Private Party, you guys are good, but like Keith Lee said, you're going back down the ladder because you guys been held back by Hardy, Andrade, and not really carrying yourselves. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love Private Party, man. It was one of my favorite groups when AEW first started. I feel like they had to go through that training. They put them around veterans. Tony Khan was really smart during the pandemic because what he did was he took all these veterans in and he paired all the younger guys with them. I mean, think about Brody Lee and the Dark Order. That was their veteran. Private Party and Matt Hardy, that was their veteran. Christian with Jungle Boy, that was their veteran. So he brought in these key people to teach the future of the company. So I'm excited to see Private Party back on their own and they can start, you know, freaking trying to get back into that tag team title division and try to win the belt. That's what they're there to do. So now, will I think they beat Swerve in their glory? Absolutely not. But will it be an entertaining match? It absolutely will be.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see how that goes on Friday. And Tony Nese came out for something, but John Moxley crushed him during his entrance and demands CM Punk to come out and fight him for the AEW Undisputed World Title. Punk obligated, but the fans, but the officials tried to stop him from doing it. They had worked really hard to keep Punk and Moxley apart. Even Claudio and Wheeler Yuta came out to restrain Moxley as well. So that's when you know that we got that official announcement that the undisputed title match will be happening next week.
Yep, yep. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a full finish, but it's good to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. And then Chris Jericho and 2.0 were backstage. Jericho was asked about a potential dissension between the Jericho Appreciation Society, especially with him and Garcia. Jericho said he will give Garcia the benefit of the doubt, but he needs to know for sure. So they will talk out in the ring next week to see whose side you're on. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat walked up and said Garcia is coming into his own. He doesn't need Jericho, and Danielson will be the better choice to mentor him. Jericho and Monero walked off, but Parker stayed back and got in Steamboat's face. But Steamboat dropped him with a right hand, and I was like, "You still got it, Ricky. You still got it."
Right, right. It's good to see Steamboat doing this one-off with AEW. It's always good to have those legends on there appeal to that 50 and over crowd, you know?
Yeah. And so the next matchup we got is the Gun Club versus the Varsity Blondes. So this was a pretty squash match because the Gun Club defeated the Varsity Blondes after they Colt 45 for the win. And then after the match, Billy said he was proud of his sons. They all hugged, and then Stokely Hathaway appeared on the ramp, allowing Austin and Colton to attack their father from behind. And then after that, the Acclaim ran out and chased the Gun Club away, saving Billy, and they all scissored at the end of the segment. Now, I don't know where the rest of this rivalry goes, but as far as the Acclaim is concerned, because if you look at the latest tag team rating hasn't been uploaded yet, but in the last ranking, if you see most of those teams that's in the top five ranking are in the are either in the trios tournament or involved in some other rivalry promo. So as far as like Sir Sorban Arguri, Keith Lee, and Sir Strickland finding opponents for All Out, I can definitely see the Acclaim getting that title shot at All Out.
So, I mean, how great is it for the Acclaim to be now mentored by uh, one of the, DX members? The Acclaim is, set up to be that next, kind of group that really connects with the 18 to 35 demographic of today. The Scissory Daddy, I mean, come on now. That's classic. I mean, that's good wrestling right there. Oh, great moment last night when JR said, "Listen." I busted out laughing when JR said that. But that even shows that they're resonating with a 70-year-old man. I'm really happy with the Acclaim, man. Like the Acclaim is one of those groups that like kind of started getting their big kind of thing during the pandemic when it was like nobody in the audience. And now they get great pops. They're babyface now. They got a look, they got the football jerseys, the black and pink, Hitman Heart type ish, but also with a little bit of DX, so they definitely going to be a group that can resonate with the 18 to 34 male. And I'm really excited for their run. I think, Now let's put them in a good match. Like we got the good promo. We were entertained by them. Now we just need a really good rivalry and a really good match.
Yeah, and the reason,
Also, I really like the Gun Club too. Sorry to cut you off. I really like the Gun Club. I think the Gun Club is doing great things. I have my doubts about Dalton, but I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do. I think with more time, I think he's starting to love it more. I think watching him kind of get better and better and better. But yeah, Gun Club is also on my list of like young tag teams to keep an eye out on.
yeah, and speaking of the Gun Club, I want to see how they do now with Stokely Hathaway as their new manager. Now I want to see how they go, and be on their on like separate ways from their father. So I want to see how they go and how this relationship is going to go. But and like I mentioned, the Acclaim. The reason I mentioned Acclaim being the ones that probably get a title shot against Swerve Arguello, because my first choice was FTR, but they're gonna be busy at the pay per view with something else, and this next segment was explain why. So we had a video package regarding with Jay Lethal, Saw Jay Dunn, and Satnam Singh in pursuit of the TNT Championship. So Saw Jay Dunn was pissed that FTR came out last week to help out Warlow, and he even put out a challenge for a 6-man tag team match between Jay Lethal, Saw Jay Dunn, and Satnam Singh against Warlow and FTR at All Out.
Yep, and I'm okay with that. Looking forward to it. Warlow is always fun. Um, Warlow is always fun. I need to put him back on TV before he loses too much of his, heat or thunder. But yeah, I'm okay with that. Top guys with top guys.
Yeah, but I'm okay with it too, but I feel like that match should have been like for a Dynamite or a Rampage, because this unless they're gonna do a rematch between Jay Lethal and Warlow at Grand Slam for the TNT Championship, then I can understand that where that's going. Unless they're gonna do.
So yeah, I think it'd be great to kind of see um um Saddam Singh get more like experience, and he's going to be with some really experienced guys in there to kind of help, kind of make him look more like a big guy and sell his presence.
Yep, and we'll see how that goes. And Death Triangle were backstage. Pac addressed the United Empire, saying he's the best Britain the country has ever produced. He's looking forward to next week's trios for first round matchup, because they are a stoppable unit. So I can't wait to see that match. And I think I mentioned Will Ospreay and Austin Open might advance to the next round, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but we'll see. We will see.
So and then after that, Jungle Boy appears, and he talked about his Christian is a pussy t-shirt from last week, saying he's not allowed to wear it no more, but that shirt does hit a nail on the head. He tried to hit Christian as many times, and Christian's done absolutely nothing in return. So Jungle Boy challenged him to a match at All Out, and then Christian came out and said no. He said he's proud of Jungle Boy, and he's actually speaking for once. Christian say they both said things that they don't mean. He wants to fix things. He wants to go another run with Jungle Boy and take him to the promised land. At the end of the day, we're family. I love you. You're like a son to me, and come back home. Jungle Boy teased giving Christian a hug, but instead he took him down and landed some strikes. Christian eventually broke free and rolled to the floor, where he kicked Jungle Boy low and then sent him to the barricade. He tried to send Jungle Boy into the steel steps, but Jungle Boy reversed it and repeatedly drove his face into the steps. Jungle Boy then stomped Christian into the steps and continued attacking until the officials broke it up. So I'm glad Jungle Boy did fell for it because I think Christian would have turned on him afterwards. Jungle Boy knew what he was doing. Yeah, he may be young, but he know what's going on. So I cannot wait for that match to be announced for All Out. Yeah,
Yeah, this promo was really cool. I like Jungle Boy's whole shebang. Like his confidence now is there. His everything is back. You know, like he is giving good promos now. The fight they had was very violent. Him like slamming his head against the steps is crazy. They got to be more careful. But yeah, I'm looking for the final blow off with this match, and I want to see where Luchasaurus really lies.
Yeah, that is definitely a question going into All Out. Where's Luchasaurus' lie? Is it with Jungle Boy or Ray Christian? Well, we'll find out. And Warlord and FTR were backstage. Cass said they had never let Warlord get jumped 3-on-1 before challenging Lethal, Sergey John, and Satnam Singh to a trios match at All Out. Warlord said he could powerbomb anyone. That said he's the best wrestler in the world, not Lethal. So let's settle this dispute next week. So going into this 6-man trios match at All Out. So we got the Pinnacle 2.0 back together. So and also when they do the match at All Out, I feel like we're gonna get a moment where Warlow actually powerbomb Satnam Singh. Actually powerbomb.
Yep, again, like seeing the three of these guys together, the Pinnacle 2.0, like you just called it, I think is dope. I'm all for FTR and Wardlow. And I also again, like you know how I feel about Jay Lethal, the most professional wrestler. So anything he's a part of, I'm down with too.
Yeah, but like I said, I think we're gonna get a moment where Warlow powerbomb Satnam Singh if he can lift him up. We'll see how that goes. But I'm definitely excited for next week between Dats and Jay Lethal because Dats is definitely in my top 10 as far as like best wrestler of the year. So well, we'll see how that match goes next week. And we got Tony Storm versus Kaylee King. So a pretty good match here. So after the break, Storm counter a overland's back suplex into a crossbody and hit the German suplex bridge for 2. King returned fire with a spine buster for 2. Storm came back with some sweet Cheeks music. Wow, that is actually the corner hip attack, and then a swinging DDT for the win. So got a little bit of HBK vibes there, but not the actual kick. It's more like cheeks.
Right. So I was not expecting a lot from this match, but they really proved me wrong. Like this match was actually pretty fire. And I was into it. So yeah, this one kind of surprised me a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm definitely a Tony Storm fan. I like her music. Sounds like Barracuda, a cheap version of Barracuda. But yeah, I was like I said, I was pleasantly surprised by this match. I thought it was going to be kind of boring. I was like, I think I was like, trying to go get something to drink, but it caught me. They caught me the whole time.
Yeah, and also we're getting a rematch from Forbidden Door, and it'll be Tony Storm challenging Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's World Title at All Out. So that is for so far the first of 2 matches that was announced. The AEW Women's World Title and the finals of the trios uh, championship tournament. And we got another first round on this upcoming Rampage with the Best Friends versus the Trustbusters. So this got me thinking: are they going to do the free brawl rule between the Trustbusters? We don't know, but we'll see how that goes. We got Athena versus Penelope Ford, Cardio Casanova Speaks. We got an FTW Championship match between Hook and Zach Clayton. And then the AEW World Tag Team title match between Swerve and Glory and Private Party. And then next week's Dynamite, we got the AEW's trios Championship first round tournament between Death Triangle and the United Empire. Dax Harwood versus Jay Lethal. And then the AEW Undisputed World Championship match between CM Punk and Jon Moxley.
Dope. Sound like a packed show.
Yeah. And then
glad to see Penelope Ford coming back and against Athena. I love seeing Athena wrestle. So but yeah, good to see them. Good to see she's coming back. Did you know did you not hear about that whole thing that guy that's in that cardboard box mask is Kip Sabian?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what that's about. I wonder how that's gonna play out. That's some long-term storytelling. So I mean, I've been seeing him everywhere.
Yeah. And before the main event started, after the Bucks made their entrance, the Bucks handed Justin Roberts a sheet of paper revealing the mystery partner was Bill, as you know it, is the returning Kenny Omega. The crowd exploded. Even Omega was joined by Don Callis and Michael Calusia, and Don Callis joined commentary as this was the first round quarterfinal match between the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega versus the Love Factory with Andrade, Rouge, and Dragon Lee. So even though you can clearly see that Omega wasn't really 100%, but this was still a awesome main event and a perfect start of the tournament as well. So in the final moments of the match, Lafaccio set Omega up for a garden rail. Then Lee hit the absolute top row. Garnoy whipping out Omega in the front row. Lee covered for 2. Andrade came in and climbed the ropes, but Nick caught him off. Lee took out Nick with a Hurricane Rana to the floor. Andrade went for the moonsault. Omega rolled out of the way, but Andrade spread over again for a near fall. Andrade hit the Hammerlock DDT, but Max pushed Rouge into the power for a good near fall. Omega fired up with the V trigger on Lee, and then followed up with a second one, and then Omega popped up Lee for the one ring angel for the win. And then after the match, before they cut the camera off, Andrade attacked Dragon Lee with the Hammerlock DDT just as the show went off the air. I was like, what? That was crazy.
Yeah, that seemed kind of rushed.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that, but that was crazy. But yeah, the Elite advances to the semi final round, and they'll face the winner of the Death Triangle and a United Empire match.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That match is gonna be fun. Also, like real quick, a lot to talk about. We got the trios tournament officially starting. Death Triangle is like the OG kind of trio in AEW, along with like best friends. So a couple of groups in there I really want to win because they just been around for so long. Low key, kind of totally forgot about that All Atlantic belt until I saw Pac with it. But Kenny Omega, the cleaner, is back. So good to have him back. I feel like he just brings a certain seriousness to the brand, even though he can be a goofy guy, but he's all business in the ring. A little bit rusty. I don't know if that story that they're playing on. He has like 4 surgeries that he get rehabbing from. They say that he's still not 100%. Don Callis is back, which I like to hear Don Callis on the mic. I think he's a great heel manager. But Kenny Omega is back. He looked great. The V trigger looks good. His knees look great. That one winged angel was a little rough, but I just don't know if it was because of the moment. But all in all, good to see Kenny Omega back. The pop was great. He really is to me like the biggest star of AEW. Like this company was built to showcase Kenny Omega's skills to an American audience, I feel. He does come with this certain seriousness when he's in the ring, and you gotta be the best to be in the ring with him. Overall, really good match. Of course, you got luchadors and Buck, so you got flipping all over the place and jumps all over the place. So they did not disappoint there at all. The little story with Roosh and his brother at the end was a little rushed. Didn't know what the real reason behind it was. Maybe they just ran out of time for that. But still, Kenny Omega is back, and that feels good. That feels good to say. He was the longest reigning AEW champion. I mean, he held that. He carried that company on his back during the pandemic. I mean, he had every belt. He was carrying 4 companies on his back during the pandemic. So no wonder he's injured now. So good to see him back, and I look forward to seeing him in top championship matches soon. I really, 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 really want a Kenny Omega and Matthews fight or match. I really want that match. I think those guys will really clean it up. I don't know how they'll put those people together, but please make it happen.
You know, will be great if
What's
Kenny,
that?
if the elite win the trios tournament, and then we get the rivalry between the elite against the undisputed era down the road, and then we get a trios match between the group at Full Gear.
That would be nice. Yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah, because this all because I feel like that they had to continue the story when the undisputed era beat up the young bucks. So you gotta have continue that story there. So I feel like if that's why they bring Kenny Omega back. When they first announced the trios tournament, you know, the elite probably gonna win the belts, but we'll see how the rest of the tournament goes. But I feel like that's what they're going for to do the elite versus the undisputed era storyline. So that's why I feel like it's going for with there. That's why I feel like.
Yeah, I think definitely I want to see some dope trio matches. We got the trio belts. Who will be the last two? I don't know. Like honestly, like the bracket felt a little whack to me at first, but the more I kind of analyzed it, and I realized like, okay, you take out like some of the fluff groups, like the groups that you know probably won't win, like we really do have some really good matches in store for us, and depending on how they book it. So because of that, I'm excited for the trios tournament, and you know, I think the writing's on the wall right now that the Bucks and Omega will win, but that doesn't mean that it's set in concrete. You know, I think that's what everyone expects, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. I think Death Triangle has a bigger claim to those belts than any other group, any other trios group in that tournament outside of the best friends. So, like I said, also I would love to see the best friends with gold around their waist. You know, I would love to see Orange Cassidy, you know, trying to carry a belt to the ring. So, yeah, I'm excited for this trios tournament. I'm excited where it's going to go. And I can't wait for Garcia to join Blackpool Combat Club just to bring it back full circle.
Yep. We'll definitely see how next week goes. But to wrap things up, anything you want to touch on?
Not at the moment. Looking forward to All Out. Man, we gotta start doing like some All Out like live reaction videos or something. Also, I'm about to go pre-order my copy for Fight Forever.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, when the pre-order wasn't out, is it pre-sales out already?
They said you can go pre-sale on the commercial. They said go and pre-order now or add to your wish list. So whatever I can do to show my support, I'm gonna go start doing that.
Cool. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, he is Leland, and I'm Trico, and we'll see y'all. We might be back for Rampage review show, but if not, we'll see y'all next Wednesday.
Yo, those Saturdays be tough, guys. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Those Saturdays be tough on me. So sorry we not consistent with the Rampage, but we definitely gonna be consistent with the Dynamite.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think they need to start fits in on Rampage a little more because last week was kind of terrible for me. But they
Yeah,
gotta
like I think that's the new rule, guys. If you see a Rampage review, that means it's a good show. If you don't see a Rampage review, probably wasn't a good show.
yeah. But AEW start getting their footy back. Like you have some of the stars that was on the injury list that's coming back. But yeah, like we mentioned
Yeah.
before, yeah, we'll see how the next couple weeks go leading into All Out and especially for next week's Dynamite. But other than that, y'all, we'll see y'all soon.
Peace.